Here are 5 more mini board game reviews. Alright everyone, welcome back to After Evenfall, a channel all about inspiring you to embark on adventures from home. My name is Bailey, and today we're going to go through 5 board games that I've played more recently and what I thought of them. So let's get into it. So this first game was sent to me for review by Magic Beast Game Design. It has not yet been released, but it will be on Kickstarter starting April 24th. And this game is Beyond the Event Horizon, designed by AJ Huerta, Seth Barber, and Garrett Yonkers. And like I said, produced by Magic Beast Board Game Design. So this is a prototype copy of the game. This is not the actual physical end result of what you would be getting if you backed the game. So all of the components and everything that you see in B-roll are prototype components. They are not end game or final components. Those will be released with the Kickstarter once it has been finished. So the premise of this game is that mankind has ventured into the Black Sun and has been transported into this parallel universe. Now on the other side of the Black Sun, you will battle your way through as you discover this new universe and all the planets and riches that it has in store, and you will also be building and customizing your own personal armada. This is a 4X game, so there is quite a bit going on. So there's this really cool discovery element to the game where you start out with your entire board is flipped over, you don't know what is located where, and throughout the game you'll be flipping these tiles to find out if it's maybe space junk, or if it's asteroids, or if it's new planets or moons that you can unlock to make your bases. And there is this dice rolling, battling element that takes place when enemies clash on one tile, or when they both arrive on the same tile. You have to battle it out and see who's gonna keep the tile and then maybe take over the tile and gain the points from it. And then there's also another phase where you're upgrading your ships, or maybe adding more ships to your fleet to move outward from your base, and which is like a little wormhole tile. And you will, as you move the fleet out, you might encounter other enemies or opponents. You might be able to discover some more of those moons or those planets. And if you have enough of your guys on the tile, you'll be able to take it, claim it, put a flag on it, and you'll be able to take those points every round that you still have your guys in the majority on that tile, and you'll apply those points to your buying, which will help you to upgrade and add more ships. You can also place mines on those planets, which might help you to gain more credits throughout the game, or you can build rocket launchers, which might allow you to attack enemies before they actually are able to roll and attack you first, and maybe destroy a few of their ships beforehand. And my personal favorite part of the game are the pirates. I love them. I think it's so fun. It's kind of this AI element where the person who has the least amount of, I keep calling them credits, I can't remember what they're exactly called, but the person with the least amount of money per round gets to place out a certain amount of pirates onto one tile, and then they roll the dice to see where all of the pirates throughout the entire board move throughout the game. And if the pirates maybe arrive on your tile, you have to do a battle that round. And if you beat the pirates out, you gain a card that might allow you to, off the black market, that might allow you to upgrade your ships a little bit better, or add some extra things that they can do. Now, the catch with the pirates is they don't always go where you want them to go because it is AI. The central tile has numbers on it that indicate if you roll this number, which direction that the pirates move. So you may put them on a spot thinking that you've got your enemy cornered, and you roll the dice and you find out that, oops, now all the pirates are going toward me, and maybe you end up in a battle, which, that happened to me more than once, I'll have to admit. And I just love that element of the game. I thought it was so fun. So this game plays at 2 to 5 players, and the gameplay initially sounds kind of long. It is around 3 hours probably for your first round of the game, and I would say that that's largely dependent on the amount of players that you have. But we cut that time about in half the second time that we played. It definitely feels way shorter. And it's one of those games that you get so engaged in that 3 hours could go by really quickly and you wouldn't even notice. You're just so into the game the entire time that it really works nicely. So I have to admit that I am not usually one who likes space games. I typically will go out of my way to avoid them. If I see them at a store, I probably won't purchase them. It's just not a theme that I'm usually really into. However, I really, really, really love this game. I cannot say it enough, you guys. I gave it 5 stars. It is that good. And my husband even said that it's one of his favorite games that we've played up to this point in time. And I can't really argue that fact. I really liked it a lot. It has so much going on that gives you tons of options, but there's also confrontation in the game, so you're not just doing your own thing, and that part is so fun. I love the confrontation in it, and I am normally not area control at all. Like, I normally like to stick to my own thing. This game, it is so fun. It keeps you on edge the entire time, and it just suited us and our family so well. Usually in our house, we'll have games come to the table where either I rank it a 5 and my husband ranks it a 3, or vice versa. It's not very often that we bring a game to the table that we both love equally, but this was one of them. I am telling you, we are going to be playing this game all the time. I seriously love it. And that is saying something. Like, my ability to play games over and over again is really low. I usually lose interest pretty quickly and I'm ready to move to the next game. This is not one of those games. This is one of those ones where I could play it over and over and over again. And like I said, like, I am just not like that at all. This game, Castles of Burgundy, there are a few of them that I could just play like all day long. And this is, yeah, definitely one of them. Now, if you're looking to get your hands on a copy of this game, like I said earlier, they are launching their Kickstarter on April 24th. I highly recommend you go check it out. I seriously, I cannot speak highly enough of this game. So that would place it at next week. I believe on Wednesday is the launch date. And this game has been developed over the course of the past 4 years. So they put a lot of time and effort into it. And it is also being published in memoriam to one of the designers, AJ Huerta. He may not have been able to see his game fully realized, but I am positive that he would be grateful to and proud of his friends for wanting to honor his memory and publish this game. Again, I'd just like to reinforce how great this game is, and I'd like to wish the team over at Magic Beast Game Design all the fortune in the world in getting this game backed and published. It really is amazing, and I'd love to see where this adventure takes them. And that is Beyond the Event Horizon. And one more time, it will be on Kickstarter on April 24th, and I highly recommend it. It's such a good game, especially for those of you who are big-time strategists. Beyond the Event Horizon. So my next game that I have today is a game that I pre-ordered back in 2022, and I was really excited about it, and that is, I pre-ordered it back in 2022. It also came back in 2022. I just am reviewing it now. And that will maybe become a little more important in a minute. But this game is Pan's Island and or Peter Pan. If I open this, the box on the actual game says Peter Pan on it. I'm calling it Pan's Island just because that is what I know it as, but it is produced by matagot and designed by two names that I cannot pronounce, so I'm going to put them in the description. This is a co-op social deduction game based off the classic story of Peter Pan. Now, in this game, the Lost Islands, I cannot talk. In this game, the Lost Boys have been scattered all throughout the island of Neverland, and it is your job, you and all of the other players at the table, it is your job to try to find all of the Lost Boys before Captain Hook can get you. In Pan's Island, each character has a little personal map out in front of them that shows areas that the Lost Boys could be in. You decide which one you want to pick as your Lost Boy area. So essentially, you're kind of hiding the Lost Boy, and you're trying to get everyone else to guess where you've hidden it. And then later on throughout the game, you will have these clue cards that you will place down in front of you that either tell them how close or how far away it is from a certain location, or your likelihood of maybe getting caught by Captain Hook, which Captain Hook has these red circled areas that he's located in, and if you go through those areas, you've been caught, and you can only be caught a certain number of times before you collectively have lost the game. There is a tiny bit of asymmetry. I wouldn't say that it's like a full-blown asymmetrical game. It's more like each of the characters that you play has just one little asymmetric power. Like Tinkerbell, for instance, can go an extra bit further than the rest of the characters can in one turn. The board is completely dry erase, so you'll give these clues to people, and then they will place this little template down on the board that allows them to draw a line toward the area that they think you've hidden your Lost Boy, and then if they think that they've found the place, they stick a little ring down, they circle the area, and then you decide if they found it or not. So I was super excited about this game beforehand. I loved the art on it, and I still do. I still love the art a ton. I really love the board. I would frame this because I think it's so gorgeous, but I was a little underwhelmed by the actual gameplay. It was marketed to be kind of more of an adult social deduction game, and it definitely errs on the childlike side. I'm pretty sure I could play this with my 6-year-old and they'd be able to pick it up pretty quickly. I usually love social deduction games. I usually love deduction games overall. They are my favorite mechanic probably out of all of them, but I just kind of felt with this game that it fell a little bit flat. It wasn't quite as exciting. It was kind of monotone the whole game. That being said, it was pretty fun. Like, we were laughing a ton throughout the game, and it was funny, but that's mostly because both me, and I have to admit, it's a me problem too, both me and my mom are big table talkers, and we both are like sitting there struggling the entire game to try not to give you clues verbally, because you're not supposed to. It's supposed to all be through your cards. And me and my mom, I mean, there's a lot of like, are you sure you want to go there? Or what's another one that we always say? Or it's always like, I'll let you change that one time if you really want to. And I don't know, we're really bad about that. So it's kind of funny because you're like, Mom, stop. Or I get in trouble all the time for it. But yeah, that's how our family kind of works. We're big talkers and we can't shut up for 5 seconds to even play a game. And anyway, so that is kind of the premise of Peter Pan, but I would like to, just reinforce that it is definitely a child's game. I gave it about a 2.5 on my ranking of stars. It aired on the side of I didn't really like it all that much, but I do think that if I brought it out with my kids, they'd love it. I think it's a really good game for you as an adult to play maybe with your kids, or to have your kids play together. It's very easy to understand. There is technically like a more advanced version of the game, and I could see how that could maybe make it a little bit more engaging, but overall it just didn't seem like it totally hit for me. The complexity of it is very light. Like, it's really just you're picking a spot, you're laying down 2 cards, and they're drawing a line, and you just tell them yes or no, and that's pretty much the entire game, like summed up in 2 sentences. It's really quick. And getting caught by Captain Hook, at least for us, wasn't really a big hindrance. Like, I don't know. I could see how maybe some games you might get caught a lot more than others, but we felt like it was pretty easy to avoid him. But again, I'd like to say that the art in this game is beautiful. I love like the characters and again, that map is just gorgeous. I really love it overall for those reasons, but I was a little hungry for more content within the game itself. And that was Pan's Island. All right, so my next game is Reef by Emerson Matsuki and produced by Next Move Games. So Reef is an abstract game where you're placing these cards or drawing cards and playing them out of your hand that allow you to build out this little coral reef in front of you. It's very much a puzzly sort of game where you're trying to achieve certain goals by placing coral in certain grid spaces, and you're trying to build up your reef. There are objective cards that you can reach, and then there are also cards that allow you to place certain pieces out onto your reef, and you'll be able to stack certain coral pieces on top of one another, and because some of the cards will maybe require you to have a stack of 2 or a stack of 3 with like a red on top or something like that, and then they need to be next to stacks of certain levels as well. My mom really liked this game, and my husband really liked this game. This is one of the few games that really made it onto my, like, really hate list. I can't stand it. I will never play it again. And I will probably just end up giving it to my sister or something. It's not because it's a bad game. Like I said, my mom and my husband really enjoyed it a lot. And if you're really into abstract games, this might be a really good one for you. I don't like abstract games overall. I just am not. I'm learning that that's kind of a mechanic that I just don't love. I'm not a big abstract gamer. But my biggest nitpick with this game is anticipation. I felt like the luck of certain cards being flipped was just too hard to counterbalance with what you're already doing. Like, if I had maybe 3 or 4 objectives that I was trying to reach throughout the entire game, and I was building up for those 4 objectives the entire game, I would like it a lot better. But your objectives change like every round, and maybe you stacked way too high to be able to accommodate that objective out there, and now you're left with nothing because you've already done all you can do. I didn't like the luck element of that. I really didn't like this game. And I hate to say that about any game that I know someone put their time and energy into producing, which is why I also want to stipulate that you might love this game. It's not for me. I really didn't like it, but that doesn't mean that it's not for you, and that doesn't mean that it's not a good game. That's just my personal opinion on the game, and I know this is going to be kind of short. It's only because I really don't know what else to say about it. But yeah, that's Reef. So the next game that I have is a party game that I got more recently. I think I showed it on a video where I did a board game haul. And I ended up playing it with a bunch of ladies that I had over one night a few months ago. And that is Green Team Wins. Produced by Goliath Games, and I am unaware of who the designer is. I need to look it up. But this is a party game where there is a card that is laid out on the table, and it's one of 3 different categories, or one of 3 different types of cards, and all the players have whiteboards in front of them, and you write down the answer on your whiteboard that you think everyone would give to this question in particular. So there is like the this or that, which is kind of like would you rather, like would you this or that? Would you pick like hot chocolate or coffee? I don't know. That's a crappy example because I don't think that's actually in the game, but it kind of gives that vibes. And then you would write down like hot chocolate or coffee, depending on what your preference is, or what you think everyone else's preference is. And then you flip and you see if you're in the majority or not. If you stay in the majority, if you were in the majority going into the round and you stayed in the majority, then you get 2 points. But if you were in the minority before and you were maybe on the orange team, then you flip to the green team and you get 1 point. And then if you stayed in the orange team, you just don't get any points at all. It's a surprisingly fun game. I didn't think that it was going to be as fun as it was, but it was so quirky. And it says that it's for, I think it says it's for like 3 to 6 players. Yeah, it says it's for 3 to 6 players. However, I will say that we ended up playing with a group of 8, and we just had 2 other ladies get paper. They just got paper and a pen, and that worked totally fine. You could play this probably with a ton of people. And I could see that like the more people that you get, if you just have papers and pens, you hand them out and you just have everyone write down their stuff and cross it out when you're done, it could be really, really fun. It is a super fun game. And I feel like it would get way more quirky the higher the amount of people that you have. I mean, we had questions put out there that were like, so there's like one section of the game that's like, fill in the blank, mother blank. And I couldn't think of anything good, so I just didn't write anything at all. And then everyone else put like Mother Teresa or Mother Hubbard or things like that, and it just didn't cross my mind, so I got stuck on the orange team. But it was so, like, the whole game, and maybe it was just the time of night that we played it, I've kind of noticed that we ladies tend to get a little bit more laughy, what's the word that I'm trying to think of? Slap happy? Like, after around 8 p.m., we all get a really, like, everything makes you laugh. But it was so funny. It was such a good game, and I highly recommend it to anyone who's looking for a good party game. This one is great, especially because they limit the amount of cards that you play per game. Their deck is big enough that you can play plenty of rounds before you start repeating cards. And it's so fun. It was a really good game. I would give it 5 stars just for what it is, like as a party game. I think it's one of the best ones that I played. I like it better than Apples to Apples for sure, and I like it a lot better than we've played a game called Red Flags, and that one's really funny too. I like this one better, and that is Green Team Wins. So the last game on my list is an older game, and we found out about it at a cabin weekend that we did with some friends back a few years ago. I don't actually know when the publication date was for this or how popular it was. I had never heard of it before our cabin vacation, but we really enjoyed it, and that is Hilarium. Now, Hilarium is a different take on charades, where instead of one person doing charades in front of everyone else and everyone else trying to guess it, everyone is doing charades at the exact same time. You have like a hand of 5 cards, and they all might say different things, and you're trying to act out those cards, but there are other people all around you that are also trying to act out their cards, and you have to try to find the match. And if you find the match, you lay your cards down and you pull a new card, and you go until the cards are all gone. But you're also not allowed to say what's on your card. There are some cards that will give you instructions to make verbal noises. There are some cards that will tell you that you have to stay silent the entire time. But it is so fun. And this is another one that's kind of unassuming. It is hilarious, though. to have someone like quacking like a duck over there and desperately looking around to see if there's another duck, but they don't want to look too awkward at the same time, and someone else is like rowing a boat and someone's like kissing their muscles or something, and you're just looking around trying to find your match and act out the same thing at the same time, and it's so funny. And the more people you can play it with, the better. I will say it is more fun with adults or teenagers. We've tried to play it with some younger kids before, and even though the concept of the game sounds pretty easy, they definitely had a hard time with it, and it is so funny with adults, because like kids don't care. Kids will be weird, and it's not a big deal. Adults are a little more self-conscious, and that makes it all the funnier when someone starts honking like they're driving a car, or I don't know, just funny stuff. I would like this is a good one for like family reunions where you have like all the aunts and uncles together, or like cousins or things like that. I think it's so fun. And it is so quirky, and again, it's probably a really old game, and I just have no idea, and maybe the whole world has heard of it before, but if not, that's hilarium. I think this company, this is Mattel, so I am trying to think of, I think they have on here that it's the same company that does Taboo and Outburst. Taboo. This is the same company that does Taboo. And anyway, it's a really fun game, and if you're looking for a fun party one to add to your party collection, this is, and if you're looking for a good icebreaker game, like maybe if you're with a ton of quiet people, this is a really good one to get them a little bit out of their comfort zone. And that is hilarium. All right, everyone, so that has been 5 mini board game reviews today. I hope that you really enjoyed what you saw. I would like to reinforce again that one game, Beyond the Event Horizon, kickstarts on April 24th. You should head over to that page on Kickstarter and just save it for when it launches, because it is a great game. And then in addition, I also wanted to remind you all that I am an associate of Harbor Loot. So if you're looking for any sort of fun gaming content or fun gaming supplies, they are a great company. I have said it once before, I'll say it again. I love their dice trays. They are high quality and they are fantastic. And I like how wide they are, and that the sides angle out so that you can see when they're rolling, you can see your dice still. Because I've had some where like the sides were steep and you had to like lean over the table. Anyway, that all aside, Harbor Loot, I'm including a link down in my description to their website. You can follow that link and you can get your own dice or dice supplies, and I would highly recommend that you check them out. I hope that you guys, again, have loved what you've seen today as much as I've loved making it for you, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notifications when we upload new content, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again in the After Evenfall community.